Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our previous video, we talked about what is nutrition and what are its types. In today's class, we are going to talk about nutrition in plants in detail. So let's start the topic. So we categorized nutrition in two types, autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. In plants, autotrophic mode of nutrition is found, and in autotrophic nutrition, organisms make their own food. And we all know food is essential for every organism because food provides us energy to perform our various life processes, right? Now the question arises, how plants are able to prepare their own food. So plants use some inorganic substances like CO2 and water, and the process in which plants make their own food is known as photosynthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means to build or to prepare. So photosynthesis means building up by light. And what is the source of light for them? Sun. How plants are able to perform this process? So plants have a green oval shaped organelle known as chloroplast that helps them to make their own food. So this is the general structure of a chloroplast. It has an inner membrane, an outer membrane. These membranes protect the organelle and control what goes in and out. Second thing, they contain stroma. So stroma is a jelly-like fluid inside the chloroplast, and it contains enzyme, DNA, ribosomes, and it is the site of the dark reaction. Dark reaction occurs in absence of light. Part is thylakoid. Thylakoid is the structure. It is a flattened disc-like sacs arranged in stacks. Okay. Fourth one is grana. Stacks of thylakoids are known as granum. And they are arranged like a pile of coins. So this is where the light reaction of photosynthesis takes place. Okay. Fifth one is thylakoid membrane. So these membranes contain chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? It is a green pigment that captures light. And sixth one is lamellae. You can see here the granas are connected together through a portion known as lamellae. Okay, so chlorophyll captures sunlight and makes ATP, that is known as energy carriers. In the absence of light, dark reaction occurs where glucose is made from CO2 and water. Now, what are the requirements of photosynthesis? So, first, photosynthesis requires carbon dioxide. A plant gets carbon dioxide from air. They have stomata. What are stomata? We will discuss later. Second one requirement is water. They get it from soil via roots. We all know roots absorb water and minerals from the soil. Third one is sunlight, and it is a source of energy. Okay, and last one is chlorophyll. What is chlorophyll? We just discussed about it. So these are the basic requirements of photosynthesis. Now let's define the term photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process by which green plants make their own food like glucose from carbon dioxide and water by using sunlight energy in the presence of chlorophyll. So this process is called photosynthesis. Okay, now let us first write the equation of photosynthesis. So here you can see 6 molecules of carbon dioxide combines with 6 molecules of water by using sunlight in the presence of chlorophyll to make 1 molecule of glucose and releases 6 molecules of oxygen as byproducts. We can also say that this is a oxidation reduction reaction. Okay? We all know glucose is a type of carbohydrate and it is a simple carbohydrate. These are the steps of photosynthesis. First, absorption of light energy takes place by chlorophyll. We just saw the structure of chloroplast that contains this green pigment chlorophyll. So chlorophyll absorbs the light energy from sunlight. Then this light energy is converted into chemical energy. Okay. Then the water, here we can see the water that was absorbed by roots via soil is splitted, or we can say it is broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. And in the fourth step, we can see that the carbon dioxide is reduced to glucose or carbohydrates. Okay. And in the last step, we can see that oxygen is released as a byproduct. What is the conclusion of this reaction? Plants make glucose and release oxygen. And we can also see that water is oxidized to form oxygen, right? And carbon dioxide is reduced to glucose. This can also come in your exam. Now, the next question arises, how carbon dioxide gets in and oxygen gets out. So, plants have a special structure known as stomata that helps in the exchange of gases. Okay. Stomata are tiny pores present on the surface of leaves. They help in exchange of gases and loss of water vapor. That process is known as transpiration. So what are the main parts of stomata? First, it has a stomatal pore, and this is known as stomatal pore. Through this opening, CO2, O2 and water vapor move in and out of the leaf. Second, they have two kidney bean shaped cells called guard cells. Okay, and they surround each stomatal pore. They control the opening and closing of the pore. Okay, so they can be closed or open depending on the amount they need to take. They become swollen like this. This means the stomatal pores are open. If they shrink like this, it means the stomatal pores are closed. Now, guard cells have these green colored pigments known as chloroplast. Okay, so they also contain these organelles known as chloroplast that we just discussed about. Now you can see here a brown spot. This is nucleus of guard cells, as guard cells are living. So think of stomata as tiny doors on a leaf. The doors are the pores and the watchmen of these doors are the guard cells. They decide when to keep the door open or to take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and when to shut it or to stop losing too much water. So they control transpiration and also the exchange of gases. In addition to leaves, stomata are also present in the green stems. Okay, so green stems also carry out photosynthesis. In broad-leaved plants, stomata occur only in the lower surface of the leaf. Okay, and in narrow-leaved plants, stomata are equally distributed on both sides of the leaf. Okay, now let's discuss about the parts of a leaf. First, let's discuss about the external structure of a leaf. Leaf contains few important parts. First one is lamina. Lamina is also known as leaf plate. It is the broad flat part of the leaf and it is the main site of photosynthesis. And it helps in absorbing sunlight. Okay. Second one is midrib. It is the thick central vein of the leaf. It provides support and acts like a main pipeline for transport of water and food. Third is veins. Veins arise from the midrib. So here you can see many branches arising from the midrib and they carry water and prepared food through xylem and phloem that we are going to discuss later, and also provide strength to the leaf. Okay, last one is vascular bundle that contains both xylem and phloem. So xylem transports water and minerals from roots to leaves and phloem transports prepared food from leaves to other parts of the plant. We are going to discuss it in detail later. And last part is cuticle. It is a thin waxy layer on the surface of a leaf and it prevents excess water loss. Okay. So this diagram shows the external structure of a leaf. Now come to the cross section of a leaf that shows internal structure of a leaf. The topmost layer is known as upper epidermis. It is like a protective skin. Okay, and it is covered by a waxy cuticle to prevent water loss. So this is usually transparent so that sunlight can easily pass through. Second one is mesophyll. So mesophyll is divided in two layers. First one is pellucid and second one is spongy. So pellucid and spongy mesophyll. Pellucid mesophyll is just below the upper epidermis. It is made of tightly packed elongated cells with lots of chloroplast. We know the function of chloroplast, right? They are the main site of photosynthesis. Now the spongy mesophyll are loosely arranged. You can see here they are loosely arranged with air spaces between them. So these are the air spaces. These spaces allow gas exchange. How? CO2 in and O2 out. They also contain some chloroplast. Now the bottom layer is known as lower epidermis. It contains stomata. Here you can see the guard cell. Another point to be noted, in roots, stomata are not present. Okay, why? Because we know roots are underground and they do not do photosynthesis or exchange gases with air directly. Okay, another point is stomata are Stomata are more on the lower surface of the leaves. Why? Upper surface gets strong light. Okay. So if too many stomata were there, too much water would evaporate. So stomata are kept mostly on the lower side to reduce water loss. Okay. Second reason is plants need to save water, especially in hot, dry areas. So having more stomata on the shaded lower side helps balance gas exchange and water saving. Now some are special cases or exception. In floating plants like lotus, stomata are only on the upper surface. Why? Because the lower side touches water. And in desert plants, stomata may be very few or open only at night. Why? To save water. So the plant is very smart. It adjusts the number and position of stomata according to its environment. So desert plants make their food in the same way as other plants, but they do it smartly by taking CO2 at night and using it during the day. So what they do, take CO2 at night, and then when the light appears or when they get the sunlight, they start the process of photosynthesis. So they use CO2 during the day. Why? To save water and survive in hot deserts. We can also say that desert plants keep their stomata closed during the day to save water and open them at night to take in CO2. Now let's talk about how aquatic plants make food. So in water, carbon dioxide is present in dissolved form, and aquatic plants absorb this dissolved carbon dioxide through their surface. Okay, or specialized pores through the process of osmosis. And they are always surrounded by water, so they do not face any shortage of water for photosynthesis. And just like land plants, aquatic plants have chlorophyll. Plants also need other raw materials for building their body, like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron, and magnesium. Nitrogen is an essential element used in the synthesis of proteins and other compounds. And this nitrogen is taken up in the form of inorganic nitrites or nitrates. So when roots absorb the water, these materials are also taken up from the soil. That's all for today. Hope you liked the video. Do like, share and subscribe.